Hello, and welcome to Star Wars Saturdays, which is part of the Gauntlet community. The Gauntlet is a worldwide group of tabletop role playing game fanatics and fans and friends. We get together normally on Google Hangouts, but in other places as well. Some of them even meet in Meet Space, but not here because I like to go worldwide, baby. We are playing part of Star Wars Saturdays, which is an ongoing anthology series that I have been running, where every month I choose a different game to offer up, and members of the Gauntlet community will come together, 3 to 5 players. We will create characters and figure out and carve out a piece of story that exists within the Star Wars universe. And I love the original trilogy. I love all of Star Wars except Lowback, but almost all of Star Wars. And we are actually running in the timeline, like just as a backdrop of the original trilogy. And we're currently in the Empire Strikes Back timeline, which means that there are no Jedi, like they're a dead religion, as it were. The Empire has a stranglehold, has a grip. Emperor Palpatine is in power. The Republic has been destroyed. The Senate has been dissolved. There are governors who are appointed by Emperor Palpatine who run particular sectors of the galaxy. And most of the people who want to live free, they have moved out to the outer edges of the galaxy, to the outer rim. There is this alliance to restore the Republic, but they haven't really, I mean, they had that one thing about some kind of moon, but you know, if you watch Holonet, all that was just some kind of terrorism, and that then nothing was really gained by those terrorists. They just killed some like children or something. That's what you've heard on the Holonet from the Imperial Holonet. And so that's the setup for this game. This month, in September of 2018, we are playing Robert Bowles' Misspent Youth. Now, I only have a PDF of this, and boy, I wish I had the physical copy, or I would show it to you, and I would lovingly hold those pages. I really need this book. Like, I need it on my shelf, but I have the PDF. And I'm really excited to run this for the first time for me, for you guys. I think it's a really interesting game, and I think it's going to fit real damn well in Star Wars. Now, I have pitched the game as the idea of a Twi'Lek rebellion, and that'll be my default assumption unless we determine otherwise. So the way that Misspent Youth is, the way that you start it, is that we talk about creating a good antagonist. And so the way that we kind of start off with that is we talk about bullies. Now, this is Hangouts, so I may have to call on names. The idea of Misspent Youth at a table is much more freeform, but I know that over Hangouts it can be a little weird about talking over top of people. But the idea is to just think about what are aspects of bullies, what are things that bullies do that really piss you off? Because I want this authority to be emblematic of the things that most upset you personally, because I really want to make you mad and I want to make you fight back. And if we come up with a milquetoast kind of villain, then we're not going to get those really cathartic actions and reactions from the game. So yeah, I'll just go. Steven, what's something about a bully or bullies that really bother or offend or piss you off?
Before we talk about that,
yeah,
I'd like to make sure the X card's on the table.
Thank you so much, Steve.
So if I toss something out, is that okay?
100%. Yes. So we're going to talk about things that upset us, but I want us to feel safe. Thank you, Stephen. So the X card is one of our safety tools. If there's anything that you bring up that one person feels passionately about and another person X cards them, guess what? That X card wins. Right? We're not going to have a contest where you lobby for your thing. We just X card it. If that's a thing that causes you to draw back, to not have fun, to really, it really bothers you on a personal level to where you can't engage, with the story that we're telling together. All you have to do, just hold up X. You can type it in the side chat on the Hangout. You can even, there's an X card on the cool roll for your party. Thank you, Shane Libling. You can click on that. That'll pop up for everybody. I'm not going to challenge you on what you've X carded. I may ask a question or two just to understand. And I promise you, there are enough things in this world and in Star Wars to piss us off that we will find other things. So don't feel bad. And then the last thing I'll say about X card is that if you don't X card something because you think, oh, I can roll with this, and then after a little bit it starts to get to you, you have not invalidated your chance to X card by not having done it the first time through. Okay? If you hit a point where you're like, whoa, I need a break or I can't handle this anymore, just you can still X card. For an example, there was a person who, like, we came up with an NPC that was that person's name. And we were like, oh, crap, that's your name. And checked in. Are you cool? He said, that's no problem. And then it turned out the guy was kind of a slime ball. And he was like, hey, I'm going to discard that now. And we're like, okay, cool. We came up with a different slime ball name. It is no problem. Any questions about X-Card? Thank you so much, Steven, for bringing that up. All right, awesome. Great. So with X-Card on the table to give us that safety, what pisses you off, man?
Man, what pisses me off from a bully is whenever they single me out for something I have no control over. So this might be my race or my looks or something like that.
I feel you. Yeah, I like that. Noella, what pisses you off about bullies?
What really makes me angry just is like homophobia, transphobia, especially like, you know, targeting like people, you know, like we already have enough trouble, and then just people like targeting us because of that really makes me angry.
All right, cool. And just so we're clear, that are you then communicating to me it's okay if the authority has
yes, it's okay. It's okay.
Right. Awesome. That also makes me upset. I just personal story. My son's 12, and he plays Fortnite and he plays Grand Theft Auto. I know Grand Theft Auto. He really shouldn't be playing it. We've talked about it quite a bit. There are certain things he can't do in the game, but I'm a bad parent. Anyway, one of his friends like calls people gay, and it bothers my son, not that he's worried about being thought of as gay, but like that his friend uses that as an insult. He can't get him to stop. Like, and me as a dad, I'm like, what do I do? Should I put on the headset and like talk this kid down? Like, what are you doing? And I've done that once and it didn't help. It just made my son look like an asshole. So it sucks. It sucks that it's like part of that culture that my son's involved in it. It sucks. Cool. Keith, what about bullies piss you off, man?
I would say when they use the rules as a bludgeon for their power. This is the rules. This is how we're doing it. It doesn't matter if it's the right thing or a good thing, but because someone wrote down that it was a thing they can do, they will do that.
Like lawful evil.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's not illegal. It's just immoral.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. Those are just the rules, right? I'm not attacking you. It's just the rules say that you have to register, right? Yeah, I like that. Paul, what about bullies makes you upset?
So
there we go.
This kind of follows on to that when they change the rules in midstream, right? Because not everything's written down. And so you can be doing things right one day, and then the next day they tell you, dude, you can't do that. And then I'm like, why can't I do that? Because yesterday I could do that.
That is terrible. That is very, very offensive. I really like this authority you guys are helping to create. Jason, my friend, what makes you mad about bullies?
I had so much time to think about it. I think it's that it is not their fault. It's your fault. You fell short. You are abnormal. You are weird. You didn't follow the rules. You weren't smart enough. They're just living life. It's not their fault you suck.
Can I add one more thing?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I'll just say when I get in trouble for defending myself, it's like when you get in trouble for defending yourself. And then also when they get mad at you for getting upset because you're not objective, but they're like attacking you, and of course they'll get upset, but then you're wrong for getting upset.
Interesting. Okay. So, like, they refer to you as being uppity. Like, it's not...
Like, oh, you're so emotional.
Ooh, you're so emotional. I'm writing that down.
Invalidation.
Why are you getting upset? It was just a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody have any more bully stuff they want to throw out there?
Had another one, but it kind of just fits into everything else, I think, at this point, which is rewriting reality. You know what happened, and the bully describes it a wholly different way and sticks to it to the point where people believe the bully.
Yeah, gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
So along those same lines, I was going to say, whenever the bully thinks that they're joking around with you, but it's not a joke to you.
Or when they say it's a joke so that they can get away with it.
Right, right.
Cool. Well, you know, I didn't come in immediately saying that this was going to be the Empire was your authority. I was open to the possibility of it being something else, but it seems as if you guys have created the Empire for me already. Is that everybody okay if we just say this is the Empire?
Well, it could be like the local iteration of the Empire.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's the Empire in broad strokes, but more specifically, I think we should set it on a planet or a space station or a place, so that when we come up with authority figures, it's more localized. It's more like maybe there's a governor in control or a person who's in control of the garrison or the city. The scale that we set it on is important because you guys have the opportunity to potentially take out some of those systems of control and win victories, but you can't defeat the Empire, right? Nobody can do that. It's too big. But there's a possibility of you guys being able to find a small victory for yourselves at high cost. Sorry, but that's how the game. I'm not laughing at you. It's just the way the game works, guys. Cool. So thank you so much. That was very helpful to give us some ideas. So I would like to direct everyone to the authority and dystopia stuff. All right. So, oh man, PDF Reader just decided to close on me, so I'll reopen that. You guys still with me? Yeah, you are. All right, awesome. Let me reopen my Misspent Youth, because it's kind of important to have the rules of the game I'm running. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. Ugh. All right. I'm so mad that that happened. I apologize, everybody. All right. So the way that we create an authority is the authority has a name, a description, a vice, a victim, a visage, and a need. The name is just the name. We'll start off with Empire, but we will define it further as we figure out where you guys are. Maybe we should do that. Nope. We do this first. Okay. The authority's vice is its underlying motivation. Was it the root of all the karked up poodoo that it does? So for this authority, we're talking about more localized arm of the empire. I'm thinking maybe we go with a governor or perhaps like an admiral if we do something on a space station. Just basically a person that was put in a lackey of Emperor Palpatine that has sway on the locality where you guys are. Is everybody cool with that? It's like a general idea, just so we have a face of it.
So basically, during this era, the Twi'leks are slaves, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
And it makes sense for them to be building something, right? And their first Death Star blew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm just throwing that out there.
Interesting. Interesting. Are you guys interested in having this on Ryloth? That you're a different group of Twi'leks that are on Ryloth?
Sure.
Awesome. So you're on Ryloth. So then we will have a governor of Ryloth. That governor is going to be a human because he is imperial. And yeah, he's probably going to be writing a whole lot of rules because there's like a whole terrorist threat here with all you. What is the vice? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the vice should be greed I think for maybe the whole empire, it would be more of like absolutism, but I think for the local, like, governor, it would be greed and like exploiting the labor and resources of the area.
I like it. So Ryloth in the canon of the Star Wars Expanded Universe is effectively a desert planet, and then there are areas that are you don't go there. The surface can be extremely hot. However, unlike Tatooine, Ryloth has some very beautiful spaces. They have colored sand. The majority of Twi'lek live underground. They have these like catacombs and on all kinds of underground created spaces where their communities live. They do have spaceports. They do have things on the surface, right? And there will be more and more of that as the empire builds out, as this governor tries to squeeze the resources from Ryloth to do whatever his nefarious plan will be. But yeah, I really like having on Ryloth. That's great. The victim, who is the victim of this? Is the victim for this? So the victim is whatever the authority is killing, consuming, ruining, perverting, or feeding on. Is it freedom? Is it history? Is it humanity? Humanity in a broader stroke, right? Nature or progress?
Feels like freedom to me right now.
Cool. Anybody else think anything other than freedom? Like freedom of choice, speech, religion, the press, and movement?
Either that or humanity as Twi'lek, obviously.
Yeah, accuse of people somehow, kills them, shreds their sanity, enslaves them, and so on. Yeah, yeah, interesting. So I think for me, you could have that within the freedoms. It could be slavery, could be within the freedoms. Humanity to me is almost, do we have Twi'leks who are part of the system, who have joined the empire effectively as this governor's deputies, the members that are actually contributing to the cause. Which do you guys hate more? Chewing up humanity, the people, taking away your sanity and enslaving you, or taking away your freedoms, locking everything down, keeping you from being able to congress or be able to pursue things that you enjoy and love?
I personally think as a teenager, I would be more concerned about my freedom. Yeah.
As an actual person, I'm more concerned about humanity.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the people that are saying, or the Twi'leks that are saying, yeah, I'll buy into that system. It's good for me as an individual. Has echoes that are a little scary in the current political climate for me, and definitely lean towards the disgusting side of things.
Oh, it does. Paul, you've been pretty quiet. What are your thoughts on humanity versus freedom?
I've been quiet because I've just been listening. I could go either way, but I think humanity is the more disturbing.
All right.
Because it's less clear cut, and it allows for internecine conflict. You know, it allows for my friend just took a job, you know, polishing the governor's boots or whatever on purpose.
Noelle, are you okay if we go with humanity?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. So visage, this is the form the authority takes, the face it wears when it tells you what you need to do. It's the face it wears. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. The face that it wears tells you what you need to do to attack it directly. Corporate, personal is just one guy, someone with personal magnetism and a vision. Religious is a direct line to God, Heinlein, Adam Smith, or whoever the authority operates on. Unquestioned received wisdom and sees disagreement as moral failing. The state, the authority is the group of bandits you've chosen to let bleed you so slowly, the holder of legitimate power. Or systemic, a process, a culture, a civil paranoia, a life-defining test regiment.
I'm kind of feeling state or personal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like the state.
Okay, cool. So the state, the authority, is the group of bandits you've chosen to let bleed you solely, the holder of legitimate power. I think that works really well for me. Anyone objecting to the state or think something else is good? There we go. That was. Now we get to some stuff we've already kind of hinted towards. The need. For characters to be interesting, they must want things. The authority is a character, and its need is what it wants. The need is a sentence or two that says what the authority desires and what it would do to the world if the youthful offenders weren't there to stop it. It's important that this not be something passive. Things will stay like they are is a terrible need. But so Jason had hinted the idea that there could be a large military engine that could be under construction here. I think that makes some sense for greed. Are there any other needs that you guys feel have not been expressed, or something that would be really interesting on Ryloth, the desert planet where the Twi'Lek homeworld is under subjugation? All of you are considered slaves. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the rules. You're not human, so you're a subspecies, and you're also considered a slave race, which means you can be enslaved by others, which is actually turns out good for the Empire because there's a whole lot of you here, and a lot of you are really attractive. So, sorry, but that's just the rules of how it goes. But if you work hard, you can work your way up to head slave among the household. Sometimes some people will free you. Like, there's a lot of forms to fill out, and it's very expensive. But there's always a possibility, guys, if you just behave. Any other needs that you think, or is it building large military space opera machine?
I mean, you're also hinting that he theoretically could be trying to turn us into effectively exotic pets for the rest of the Empire.
Yeah, I think the two things are stripping Ryloth for parts for the military engine, and forcing us into the niches in the machine of society that they're trying to create.
Awesome. This pleases me. You have created very, very gross needs for this terrible governor who I need to name. Whatever. I'm going to go to my Star Wars name generator. Actually, I have names. Darn it, Rich. You create these things ahead of time, and then you don't go use them. All right. Names and species. Humans.
Richard.
Pardon?
I said Richard.
No! No, you hurt my heart.
I'm just joking.
Okay, all right, good. It's not roll assumption. Anyway, I don't love any of these names.
We'll go with Ricard.
Oh my goodness. That's it. I'm ejecting you all from the... No, I'm not. All right, Star Wars name generator. Let me go to the dim future random name generator, see if I can find a full good ones. Male, give me 50 of them. Let's see here. Or should the last name be like the Star Warsy last name? Like, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, go on with the name. I'll say my bet in a bit.
Oh, okay. So what if his name were something like Karth Blackmore? Like that?
Yes,
do you
absolutely.
hate that name?
No, I love that name in every way.
Good, but you hate it, right? I want you to hate it. That's what I'm saying.
I love to hate it.
All right, now I'm changing the authority from the Empire to Governor Karth Blackmore.
So what I was going to say was that it's fairly common to have authorities in the Empire be a little on the short side, kind of skinny, and kind of aristocratic British. And I was thinking you could keep the British, but play with the other type of military figure that you encounter, which is more like Captain Bloth from Pirate or Dark Waters, or Long John Silver from Treasure Planet, like a big, beefy, rough person who sees himself maybe even as a self-made man, as opposed to all the other people in there. He worked for what he has, by God, so he deserves it.
It does kind of have some allusions to Jabba there for me. That's interesting. So normally your Imperial officials are very kind of forgettable. Like you can kind of hot swap them with each other. If you trust me, go to Empire Strikes Back. Go on anything on the Star Destroyer. You can grab any of those fuckers and swap in somebody else. You won't even know. So yeah, anybody think that is a little too beyond the pale for Imperial governors for us to have a kind of big, burly, bearded?
I don't mind the type. I just feel like if he actually has any claim to being a self-made man, that would make me hate him less. Like being handed authority is part of what's odious about it. Like you have no claim to be here doing this thing.
Well, so I should clarify that he may not have a claim to it. He just thinks of himself that way. Like,
okay,
he may have literally just stabbed his way up the ladder.
What about the trope of he has a very competent lieutenant that makes sure he's in place so that the lieutenant kind of manipulates him?
Another Twi'lek. Like he effectively has like a major domo who makes all of the things work and is effectively running things.
I hate that. Good? Yeah, I hate that.
I think that Twi'lek lieutenant is maybe of royal blood, maybe a Forta. I think. Yeah. This is good. This is good. You guys are making the worst possible authority. It makes me happy. Rating. So this is suggested. Just it's almost like it may be one too many layers of safety, but I like it anyway. The rating is for Misspent Youth is supposed to use the American movie rating, but I use TV because we're doing multiple episodes. So is this rated? I took out the like youth stuff. Is it G for general audiences, appropriate for all ages, but not necessarily targeted at children. Cooking shows and game shows receive this rating. In case you're curious, I stole this from Primetime Adventures and updated it with a few shows that people have heard of. Or is it PG? Parental guidance suggested. Most primetime shows, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Good Place are both PG. According to Wikipedia. TV 14, strongly caution for parents, strong situations, violence or sexual situations, Grey's Anatomy and The 100 are TV 14. And then top of the heap there is TVMA. Shows contain explicit sexual or violent content. South Park and The Walking Dead are TVMA. What rating should our show, our Misspent Youth series, be?
I like kind of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into TV 14, so between PG and 14.
Noella, what do you think? PG, TV 14, which of those two do you prefer?
I like TV 14.
Awesome. Anybody opposed to TV 14? So let it be done. TV 14. Parents are strongly cautioned. Includes strong language, which is Star Wars, so it's not actually strong language. I will tell you, I am going to drop into Star Wars curse words because I love them and they tickle me. But if you occasionally drop an actual F-bomb, it's fine. The RPG police have been told to just take a chill pill. Preference is that you try to Star Wars it up when you can, but if you get excited and you just drop an actual curse word, it's okay. Good. So we know what the authority looks like, who it's messing with, and why. We have all of those pieces. So we just are now working about the dystopia. And yes, the process for this is authority first, then characters later. So now we're going to talk about systems of control. You guys are the youthful offenders. That's what the PCs are called. And there's some weird overlap of like character and player in the vernacular of Misspent Youth that I'm not going to worry about. You guys were going to each create a system of control that Governor Carth Blackmore and the authority itself, which of course could have some of your brother and sister and relatives Twi'Leks among it. This system of control, and there's a note under systems of control, so I'm just reading that to you so you can read it yourself if you read faster than you listen. Each of you will create a science fiction thingy that empowers the authority. It describes the world, tells us exactly how the authority messes with you guys, how your lives are ruined, and serves as a guide and a touchstone for detailing the world in which you play. Each youthful offender creates one system of control, and each system of control must be different from the others. So some possible systems of control that exist out there, of course, could be lots of stormtroopers. It could be Imperial probe droids that record. It's wide open. You know, anything within the Star Wars universe could fit here. It also can be people ratting on each other. Now, it's not infallible. These systems of control will have gaps. There are ways that you guys are going to try to get away with stuff, right? You have a chance. You're not completely doomed, even though I may tell you that later. You're not. So does anyone want to jump forward with an idea for a system of control?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Purposeful spice addiction.
What? What did you say?
Purposeful addiction to drugs. The one I referenced was spice.
Okay. What is spice?
It's space.
It's space crack.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the spiceful flow. It's stolen from Dune because George Lucas is smart to steal from good stuff. Steven, you had an idea you want to jump forward with.
I think there is an organization of youthful Twi'lek. I Iron Squadron kind of thing, where they're like, we have this youth group, and if you join the youth group, you get benefits, and they're better slaves than the other slaves.
It's like Hitler Youth.
Yes. Imperial Youth.
Imperial Youth, yes.
Yeah.
I hate that so much. It's fantastic.
Imperial Youth. I have to write that down. That's just too good.
So my idea is reproduction re-education camp, which in English is gay conversion camp.
I'm so sad now.
That hurts. Oh.
Yeah. Because they, they want more labor.
Can you aim your fan is actually coming straight across your mic right now. Thank you. Sorry.
Because they want, you know, continuous labor, so they need babies. And you don't have babies if you're gay, so.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this was literally one of the reasons that gay people were persecuted in Nazi Germany, because they don't have babies.
I'm so heartbroken right now. Keep making me terrible systems of control, you creative folks.
So mine is the circus. If you perform for the Imperials, and if you do well enough, they'll ship you off to another planet so you can perform elsewhere and your family will never see again. And if you perform poorly, they'll give you the worst job, like out in the desert, because that's all you're good for.
Oh, you're saying that like Ula, the dancer, who is basically the Twi'Lek that gets eaten by a rancor.
She won the circus. Hooray. Congratulations. Goodbye.
She got shipped off to a different desert plane called Tatooine.
Yep.
That's so bad.
They can also encourage gambling among the Twi'leks. Or like bet on which of your friends you'll never see again.
Ooh.
I just thought it would be more interesting instead of a fighting circus, given the Twi'leks to have a performing circus that had the same general effect.
Keith, I think you're up.
I'm thinking of something to control the ingress and egress on and off the planet, so that you literally can't leave. I'm picturing, I think it's Rogue One. The planet has just the one place you can get in. That might be too much for them to put on this planet because they don't care about it so much. So I'm wondering if it's just like maybe like the ankle bracelets that you would have for house arrest. And you have to get scanned to get into buildings, to get into the starport and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. ID bracelets.
Would it be better to have like them implanted in the skin, or to have something that you can actually remove?
I think you can remove it, but you have to use a saw or a vibroblade.
Isn't there a slave implanted thing in Star Wars?
I don't know about sentient beings. I mean, there's the for droids, there's a, oh my God.
Restraining bolt. But I thought
restraining bolt.
I thought that like Anakin's mother had some kind of kind of thing.
It's a Cortex bomb. It was referenced in this wonderful online game that I saw of Impulse Drive, which near the end, there was in fact a Twi'lek who had such a thing that was removed through surgery and use of the Force.
Why, yes, that is a thing that happened. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want that, do you guys want that system of control that where you are all implanted? Do you want ID bracelets? Do you want to be implanted with some kind of bomb/ID thing? Keith, it's your system of control. What do you like?
I think the bomb for us would be too much investment in what they consider basically disposable labor.
That's true. That's a good point.
And I just kind of like the implant would be harder to get rid of, but I like the visual of like there's something clunky that you look at all the time and can't ignore. Like it's a constant reminder of, oh yeah, that's where I am in this society.
Oh, I kind of imagining like maybe it's got several different bands, so it's expandable, right? And there are certain Imperial keys that they can use, and they'll just kind of shrink it down to your wrist. Is that what you're thinking? Or like you said, ankle thing. Would you rather have it on the...
I think wrist might be better, harder to hide.
Oh my god, that's vicious.
And also easier to scan
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true.
for the Imperials that are doing the scanning.
All right. Anybody unclear? We have systems of control, purposeful spice addiction. I'm imagining there are probably like spice dens. There are rations of spice that you can earn with certain work. Oh, you hit quota. Here you go. Is that where you were feeling that, Paul? Is
that works for me?
Awesome. Oh God, that's great. Adding charms to your wrist ID bracelet to make it pretty.
Special Imperial Youth bracelets.
Oh, you guys are best. You're so good at this. I'm adding that note there, just because that is just so devious and terrible. Organization of Youth, Twi'Lek Group, Imperial Youth, the IY. It's great. We have the reproduction, re-education camp, the circus. You perform for them and you get off planet. Oh man, I'm now remembering Revenge of the Sith when Palpatine takes Anakin to that one kind of space Cirque du Soleil thing. Like, what if that is some of the circus performers? Oh my, that's really good. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Along with systems of control, we're almost done with authority. You guys we get to brainstorm on your characters. So good work. Once we get characters created, we'll take our first break. So if everybody's just checking in, everybody good? All right, awesome. Exploits. Just as the authority has strengths, the youthful offenders also have advantages that they can use to smash its grip on the world. These areas of authority vulnerability are called exploits. For example, maybe genetic self-editing is a big part of youth culture. Maybe the city you live in is depopulated and big enough that there are vast areas that the authority can't patrol. Depopulation and genetic manipulation act as holes in the authority's systems of control. In other words, these are things that you, youthful offenders, can exploit to attack the authority. So that is the next thing that we work through. So the authority creates the first exploit the same way the YOS created his systems of control. So I think I'm going to go with a thing that I had listed before that's part of canon for Ryloth. You have a vast network of interconnected underground tunnels. It's a gigantic. Smaller. All right, cool. Now, how many do we come up with? During play, we'll be writing new exploits and systems of control, as well as getting rid of some existing ones. It's the balance between exploits and systems of control that determine who wins at the end of your story. I'm not entirely sure how many exploits you guys create. Sorry. This is one thing I just realized.
In the summary, underneath exploits that's on the side there, it says 1 by the authority.
Okay.
Is it just starts with 1?
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. Okay. 1 by the authority. And now we go to the click. Thank you. That's it. That's why I copied that stuff. Yeah.
Because like you said, it shifts, right? The systems of control become exploits as we figure out what to do with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's not awful at all.
Yeah. You only have one thing. All right. This is cool. All right. We're now to the click. The click is the name of your group, your coterie, your team, your party. Crows come in murders, dogs come in packs, and youthful offenders come in cliques. What kind of rebels are you going to be? Are you a band, a skate club, rogue EMTs? Of course, this is all based around the idea of you're playing humans, which you aren't. So what we want to do is come up with what drew you guys together? Why do you stick together? Something interesting and grabby. If you say classmates, you're going to be bored. At least make them classmates that are always in detention together. All right, a description of your clique in the dystopia sheet, which I've got there as the authority piece there. Actually, or did I? Oh, maybe I don't even have that. I'll stick it in the youth reference. Ooh, we've got it. Don't worry. I'll just stick it down here. All right. So once you come up with the framework of what the clique is kind of about, then you'll start casting, where we brainstorm a bunch of youthful offender character concepts that should be part of the clique, like your TV writers figuring out who your recurring cast should be. So we should there are 5 of you. We would need to come up with 10 pithy things, jobs, right? These are niches within the clique itself, but we really need to come up with the clique. So what do you guys think? Is this the hangout thing of like not wanting to talk over each other? I know it's
I feel like I've gone forward on a lot of things, so I'm trying not to do it too much.
Steven, what do you think?
Could this be, I'm not sure how well this would fit. Could this be, we are an informal support group for children whose parents have been sent off to work on the next Death Star? So we're effectively a group of orphans.
That's really cool.
Okay.
How does that work with the mechanics? Because it sounded like there need to be more defined jobs within that. Something that would give us a direction.
Right. There need to be jobs. Like, for example, when you come up with the cliques concepts, there's stuff like rich kid or the little pothead or the hacker, you know, the tough, the adjective noun. So if you're... oh, sorry.
I just say it might help if we think of it like the cliques at a high school, like the drama club, the homebrew computer club, the art nerds, the jocks, something like that, like a broad thing that's a uniting thing. Like even if we are all orphans, there would be some other thing.
Well, I mean, we could be in group counseling.
Or are we troubled? Yeah, are we previous offenders? So we've been put into counseling for this being a previous offender.
So you're like last chance kids?
Yeah.
So the Empire is investing in psychological counseling instead of just throwing us into a pit. That seems like an investment that wouldn't be wisely made from
right. What if it's not from the authority? What if it's from the other Twi'leks who are trying to get us straighten up and adhere to the Imperial's rules so that we aren't put out?
So it's a concession that has been negotiated for, like a wayward youth program. Man, that's a lot of pressure.
I don't dig it. Honestly, I don't dig it.
Okay.
We could do a different variation where we were troublemakers before the Empire got here. Like we were already trouble. It doesn't have to be. I'm down for whatever.
No, we're brainstorming. Nobody,
Yep.
Nobody worry if things don't seem to grab
people. That though, I'm sorry to be the naysayer guy. That kind of implies that we're not as young as the game wants us to be. Because it wasn't last year that the Empire got here.
I grew up out of DC and went to high school there, man, and I gotta tell you.
Yeah. No, I'm only here for this session. I can go along with whatever the majority cares for. So.
No, we want it to be really strong. So let's get buy-in. We could be a part of the Imperial Youth.
If we are forced to join, maybe because we have like marks on our record or something.
We could also, so let's think outside of like the Imperials. What are other potential jobs? We could all be, working in food, like in the workforce to deliver food to places.
That's interesting.
Delivery kids?
Ooh, I like delivery kids. Maybe we're not necessarily making the food. Maybe we're delivering different things around town.
We're
Yeah.
basically bike messengers or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And within that, then we need to have 10 different jobs?
No, they're 10
okay.
different like archetypes. Like I think of Empire Records. Like, what are each of the characters? It's just like these are we're casting roles within the bike messenger group, not necessarily jobs. Like, we don't need dispatcher and speedy guy. We just need to cast. Oh, sorry, I was trying to grab. Yeah. So something flavorful but brief. 2 or 3 word phrases for archetypes that would exist within your group to sound cool. Like, I am now, you guys are the writer's room, and we are creating this show about a group of Twi'Lek resistance fighters or Twi'Lek youthful offenders who will be struggling against this Governor Karth Blackmore and his systems of control. And so what are some phrases of concepts, character concepts, that you think need to be part of this little bike messenger delivery kid crew?
So are examples things like the jock, the outcast, the
princess, the weirdo.
Okay. Yeah.
One thing about the bike messengers thing real quick, it just as an idea, we've got these tunnels, so maybe they're tunnel runners. Like, the bikes are specifically zipping through these underground tunnels.
That's very sci-fi and interesting to me. And that's why Twi'leks are used to do it instead of like droids. It's quicker.
Well, and they're expendable.
Twi'leks cost way less than droids. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I like it. So let's go with some ideas. Is this not jumping? Like, I haven't heard any people throw out concept or ideas or casting things. Are you guys hesitant? Do we need more? Is this not grabbing everybody? If not, I'd rather circle back and come up with a new click.
I more have trouble with the next step. Any of those games where it asks for like those youthful archetypes feels not truthful to me. Like, having been in high school, I don't know people that are just described as, oh, he's just this. Or mainly the people that hang out would all be described the same way. Like, hey, we're all music nerds. That's why we hang out together. And that the mixed groups that you see in TV and movies weren't my experience. So I have trouble getting to that step. So it isn't the delivery thing that's getting me stuck up.
Okay, I think that Rich may have referenced the Breakfast Club, where kids who didn't pick their friends but were forced together. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have necessarily applied for this job. You just were thrown into it. You could also create archetypes based off of the kinds of loss that you have suffered. Do one of you have relatives that are in the re-education, retraining camp? Do you have someone that was killed? Do you have someone who's addicted to spice? Like, that could be character types.
I have one, but you'll have to help me make it pithy. I'm thinking of like Radar from MASH, the one with the connections, the one who can get stuff.
And basically the operator.
Yeah.
Boom, that's all you need.
Okay, cool.
So I'm thinking like a graduate of the re-education camp.
That's good. That's good. Re-education camp graduate. There we go. Congratulations. You can now go propagate your species because you have good bones, and we know that your children will be useful for us. And
well, I don't know where we would put this, but I'm thinking maybe like kind of growing out of this like re-education camp, there's kind of like a very strong like gay subculture that has like, you know, like the thing with like the different colored bandanas that's supposed to like signal something, some kind of like development of like visual like cues. So like when people who know, like you're still like signaling. So it's like even though they're trying to squash it out, they've like developed a very strong subculture.
Is it charms on your charm bracelet?
Yes, that's great.
Nice, cool. So stick a pin in that. That's really good for building out the characters. We want to go with broad concepts to start, then we'll pick from that. But that's a really colorful and wonderful expression of system of control and a way to be a youthful offender. That's great. Noel. So let's do some more. What's some more concepts you guys have?
How about the sneak?
All right. The sneak, is this a person? Yeah. It's just like a little sneak or sleight of hand, like you need more than sneak, or we're going to go with that nice and broad and we'll define it as we take it?
I was thinking someone who, like, your street urchin kind of thing.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, what's some more?
I liked how Noella was talking about one of our systems of control and tweaking that. And I kind of want to pitch more of those, but I'm wondering if it would get redundant because it's in two places.
What's your idea?
Well, I'm thinking like someone that's recovered from the spice addiction, or someone that dropped out of the IY, or a loser of the circus competition, like adding on to the world building, but I don't know if it's too much.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, do all those. I like all of those.
So maybe circus star in the making, former spice addict.
That should be recovering spice addict.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. That is a very good idea.
Dropped out of the IY. Drop out of the IY. What about someone who is royalty?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If you've never heard the musical Aida, by God. So I recently saw on Netflix the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society, and one of the main characters is this woman who's working during Nazi occupation of this island off of Britain as a nurse, and her problem is that she's self-sacrificing to a fault, which is both what is best and worst. So I'm thinking that there's room for a caregiver of some of the, especially when the Imperials don't especially care if the Twi'leks stay up and running.
All right, don't forget these are teenagers, like
yes,
offenders and punks. But caregiver could be a person within that little clique that is that feels that niche.
How about the smart one?
The smart one.
So and so.
Maybe adding onto the smart one some sort of hacker techno type.
Slicers.
Love it. That's great. It's got Star Wars feel. Love it. Getting strong here. Give me one more and we'll have 10. Also, think of a character you want to play. Like that can be the 10th one.
What about? Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's the kid that's not from Ryloth. Like he grew up somewhere else and it just bad timing that he's on this backwards freaking world when the Empire came down.
All right. What did you say, Steven? You had one?
Oh, the musician. Just to go along with the circus. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So hopefully everybody sees the character concepts that I've thrown up there. You got 11. Good work. You guys exceeded my my mandate, so you may continue. Now, cool. Let's click and casting. So, yeah, it was the reading out loud. Let's see if we can think anymore. I'm going to read them aloud, see if you guys think anymore. And if we've kind of filled all the niches we like, then we'll move to the creation of your yos. The operator, the person who's got all the connections. Re-education camp graduate who still kind of signifies that maybe they aren't converted. The sneak, a street urchin. A recovering spice addict. A circus star in the making with all the hopes and dreams of that golden pot at the end of the rainbow. Imperial youth dropout. Why are they still alive? The royal, a rich kid, a caregiver, or a medic, or a counselor. The smart one / slicer / techie. The not native who just is like even from here and doesn't understand why they can't just go home. And the musician. Any other archetypes that come up, the niches that we haven't filled?
There's one other one which is probably off brand for the game, but I'll mention it, which is someone that is becoming force aware.
That I as long as we're not running around with laser swords, that is fine with me.
Where would they even get that?
This would be the religious kid, right?
Oh, the religious or the weird kid.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Any other niches? Can't believe nobody said like, the thug or the big tough. That's
Well, that could be the Imperial Youth Dropout, right?
yeah. All right.
I was kind of going through the list thinking about that.
Just go ahead and write it in, because a lot of these I think we could combine, So I just make it a whole different archetype, and then if it gets chosen or combined or whatever.
All right. Any more? Quiet. So I'm going to assume we're done. All right. Noel, you still with us?
I was chasing a cockroach. Sorry.
Oh, I hope that you killed it.
I think so.
I was going to say catch it because I don't want you to catch it. Awesome. So that's good. We're sitting at an hour and a half. This is when I would normally take a break. Let's take a break. We're 22 after the hour. Let's meet back up at half past the hour. So an 8-minute break, and then we'll create your characters and jump into the first scene. Okay? Cool. See you guys in 8. currently looking at pictures of Ray Stevenson from Black Sails as possibly the governor, but he might be a little too, like I might like him too much. I don't know.
I was researching click names.
Nice.
I found this on Worthless Creature on Ryloth. Little self-deprecation, perhaps.
Nice. That's pretty great. Excellent work. I think that needs to be worked in. That's pretty great. All right, everybody is back. Now we go through creating your yos. Now that you know what the authority is all about and you've got your concepts from casting, it's time to create the kids that are going to stand up to the authority. Youthful offender creation is something everyone participates in, and it's done in the same session as the one in which you make your authority in dystopia. It's easy to get locked up when you're creating your youthful offender. If you're stuck, just say so. And if you think someone else is stuck, offer to help them. You now have, if you will take a look, there is a permanent record or the youthful offenders sheet. That is a tab on the character keeper. And I've got your name on column A, just to make sure that people don't overstep each other. I see some people have already chosen pictures. Yay. But you didn't do it the way I asked you to. That's okay. I'll let you go. No one follows my instructions. Damn it. All right. So youthful offenders have a name, an age. But I just put it between 13 and 17. Or is everybody okay with that? Or does someone want to play a 12-year-old? All right, cool. All right. A name, an age, and a sex. Now, remember that this is the sex that the Imperials have assigned to you, probably based off of superficial observations. That is not how you see yourself or how your friends may identify you, so feel free to make whatever choice you want. And if you leave it blank, then just make sure that I have a photo so at least I can know how other people, mostly bad people, will think of you. So anyway, this sheet represents the authority's dossier on you. Fill that in as it would assign you, and you can use your looks to express yourself. And let's see. Yeah, once you guys have that kind of started, then we go through convictions. Convictions are like skills. They're what's at the core of your youthful offender. You will be filling out the free areas, so column C for your youthful offenders. And there are only 5 convictions, and there are 5 of you. So anyway, I'm sorry. No, the convictions are like your stats. There are 5 convictions: means, motive, opportunity, MO, and disorder. The first 3 are closed. The last 2 are open. The closed ones, means, motive, and opportunity, there are drop downs that will allow you to choose that. There are a total of 5 among means, motive, and opportunity. You will start in the free section. We can have some overlap if people feel pretty passionate, like I am like this and I am also like this. That's okay. Just talk amongst yourselves, my friends. We will work it out.
I guess I'm a little turned around here. Sorry, we just came back and my brain's maybe not firing. But
no problem. We're creating youthful offenders.
Yeah.
If you hop to the youthful offenders sheet on that tab, you start at row 2. Right now, I just want you to kind of think about what is your character's name, age, the sex on their imperial record, and some idea around their looks.
Okay.
So do we think that incorporating a droid would work for our group, or should I consider Twi'Lek alternatives?
I think a droid is great.
Yeah, I think it'll work great. Yeah. There are some roles that we chose, like Imperial Youth Dropout might not fit, but like the logistics person or anything like that would work great.
Cool. Oh my goodness, Paul picked the beefcake photo there.
I put some beefcake photos in there. I had to look very hard to find not just pretty girls, but other options. I'm very proud that I found some beefcake.
Okay, so I'm confused. How do I drop in a picture?
Oh, so
I chose one of the ones from the Twi'Lek pics.
yeah,
and I kind of manually did it.
Uh-huh.
But I tried to do it by copying the URL down below, and it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. I've got you.
Okay, I may have messed something up.
It's okay.
Okay,
Here we go.
fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, we've already got picks in for most.
I'm
yeah.
I'm claiming the name Herradura because it's tequila. For the Twi'lek, for my Twi'lek.
That's great.
Doesn't seem to like my link either for the photo there.
Okay. You want to give it to me? I can make it happen.
Sure.
Just drop it in the
There it is.
chat. Oh, it's because it's not an actual JPEG.
Tricky.
I will fix it for you right in a minute. Is it purple Twi'lek with a blaster and a rifle?
Yep, that's the guy.
Oh, it is a guy. All right, cool.
Or not. Hard to kind of tell in the picture, actually.
There we go. How's that? Does that work?
Yep.
Awesome. I really shouldn't worry so much about photos, but I do.
You know, I noticed that goggles are exceptionally common in Twi'lek cosplay, which I am there for. They look great.
I think
Goggles are so useful.
they tend to hide the line where the
Yep.
Leku were at it. Yeah.
No, I recognize that it's for a functional purpose, but then it also ends up feeling like it ought to be a part of their culture just because it is so common.
Well, I'm going to say that Ryloth has many, many dust storms, and goggles are just a practical good idea. And there are certain points a day when the sun is the glare of it is insane. I lived in the Twin Cities for a while, and there was one particular road that just happened to go straight into where the sun, and because it's pretty flat country in Minnesota, and that road, right around 5 o'clock at certain points of the year, if you were driving that direction, you couldn't see anything. Like it was just this sea of light, and it was like you're driving into the sun. It was a nightmare.
I found a list of names, potential Twi'lek names, and I picked a name. My name means lucky spider.
Oh, cool! Can you link me that? Because I wanna keep that. That is a cool thing.
Let's see if I can find it.
Okay, no stress. Make your character first. That's just a.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, there we go.
Shoot.
So what are we supposed to do with the MO?
Oh, great question. All right, so the MO. Hold on. All right. This conviction describes your main technique for beating the authority. It can be a set of skills, a job, your concept from the casting phase, or something about your personality that really stands out. You're the insert MO here, girl or guy or other.
Are we supposed to be up to that point, or were we supposed to just do the surface? That's what I thought. Other people are skipping ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, let me catch up. So let's get picks, and let's get the name, age, and sex. I love that we have the age of our droid. That's adorable. That's how long it's been since his memory's been wiped. Is that what that means? That's great.
How long would this have been since MR last saw action? A couple years?
Yeah, we'll go a couple years. So the convictions are things that you will use when we come into struggle. Those convictions are things that will kind of empower and also be put at risk when you go into a struggle. That's what the convictions are for. So it's what you stand for. That's what you fight for as reasons. Oh, this is really cool, Twi'Lek.
Yeah, I'm grabbing a name from that too because it is too cool not to.
Awesome.
So in addition to the name I've had, I went with Vasani, which means lost
awesome.
beloved, under the assumption that this droid was lost by someone else and is down here in the catacombs.
So one of the archetypes that came up for the click was someone who had connections.
Mm-hmm.
So if your droid is the lost beloved, then maybe you have the connections. That's interesting.
Yeah, that would work.
Interesting.
Man, Jason, I really like that character pick. That's pretty cool. I like all these picks so far, but I picked a lot of them, so of course I like them. Good. So let's go ahead and start with convictions for those who are ready to move on. And again, feel free to chat with your cohorts in case you've got a particular conviction that you feel like is like totally yours and you want to definitely be the epitome of it.
Are we trying not to double up as there's 5 and 5?
I'd appreciate if we could try not to double up, but I realize that at some point these really don't work for me, and this is the best for me. So if there's a 1 or 2 overlap, I'm okay with it. Is that fair?
I was trying to find things that people didn't have already. So
well, if something stands out for your character, and I'm conflicting with it, let me know, and I'll switch off because I think there were multiple choices I could make.
My character legit exists as only that picture and a name right now.
And also remember that Rory's going to be stuck with if you try not to. So I'm gonna kind of pick last, just to make sure you all have the opportunities you want.
So what I've laid out here is cool, optimism, and trusted, so that you have a character who's kind of together and everybody's friend style of thing. Also a little Orphan Annie kind of thing.
Nice.
That'll come out tomorrow, by God.
I'm thinking smart, maybe fast, possibly tough for Vasani.
I had put smart for mine.
I still think those 2 smarts are okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is is there a mechanical heft to this? Okay, it's mainly just descriptor. Okay.
It's a descriptor. The mechanical heft is, and this is a thing for a deciding factor. When you stand up to the authority and say, this is the conviction that I'm using, it is possible that if you lose, it is possible for you to sell out that conviction. This is the sweetness of this game, the bite as well. And so if you, they're not 1 for 1, but because of the way they're 2 different drop downs. But I will tell you what they sell out to. So let me do that now, because that would be probably good for your decision making. Bad. You're the bad kid, the outcast, the leather jacket wearer. That sells out to perverse. You now engage in profoundly karked up behavior and compulsive need to break every boundary. Cool. People want to be with you or be you. You break new ground constantly. And when you talk to people, you make them feel important. Cool sells out to trendy. You've gone from avant-garde to an avid follower who fakes it. Fast. Agility, athleticism, quick-wittedness. You're fast in every sense of the word. Fast sells out to efficient. You accomplish all your aims with uncaring perfection and accuracy. Smart. You're a genius. Some people know a lot about one thing, but you know a lot about most things and are an expert in several areas. Smart sells out to pedantic. You're always correcting people, pointing out small and irrelevant errors, and needlessly flaunting how bright you are. And then of means tough, you're a badass, able to dish out and take physical punishment. And tough sells out to vicious. If you're in a fight, you're not going to stop until you've totally carked up the other guy. For motive, altruism. You have an abiding need to come to the aid of anyone who might need it. Altruism sells out to unctuous. Whenever you're helping someone, you're trying to figure out what you're going to get out of it. And you're really good at knowing, kowtowing to the right people. Optimism. You can see a way through to a better world, and you're sure you can make it happen. Optimism sells out to cynical. Your vision of a better reality is now twisted by the certitude that it will never be achieved. Outrage, you're filled with a pure righteous anger. Outrage sells out to wrathful. You become consumed by a directionless spite that burns everyone you come in contact with. Pride, you know you're a worthwhile person who doesn't have to put up with this. Poodoo, pride sells out to arrogant. Not only are you good, you're better than everyone else, even your friends. Thrills, you're addicted to danger, and nothing beats counting coup on the authority. Thrills sells out to nihilistic. Little kid Poodoo doesn't cut it for you anymore. You're driven to seek the kind of risk that will end you, and you don't give a kark. And then opportunity, pretty. You're such an angel, so pretty and nice. Pretty sells out to vain. Your appearance is now the most important thing about you. Orphan, you don't have parents, or your parents are zonked out and heedless. Orphan sells out to helpless. You lose a sense of agency in your life. Rich, you're incredibly wealthy. Rich sells out to prolificate. Profligate. Is that profligate? No, I think that's
I think you're saying it right.
Yeah, but I think it's actually
it's profligate.
Profligate. I was like, yes. Thank you. Profligate. You solve every problem by throwing money at it. Sneaky. You're good at hiding your motives, getting around without being seen. Sneaky sells out to untrustworthy. You're now compulsively lie even when it isn't necessary. And then trusted. The authority believes in you. Maybe your parents are loyal agents. Trusted sells out to believer. You've fallen for the lie a little bit, and now you see that in some cases the authority has a point. Doesn't stop you from wanting to take them down, of course. So those are all closed, meaning that one conviction will sell out to the opposite of it. Then MO and disorder are open convictions. MO describes your main technique for beating the authority. It can be a set of skills. It could be your job. It could be your concept. And then disorder is your heroic fatal flaw. It's a youthful and innocent failing that helps you beat the authority, even though it messes with your life. You may not sell out your disorder until you've sold out all your other convictions. Since it's the last thing to go, it's kind of your core motivation, the ultimate innocence buried inside you. I probably should have let off with that. Sorry about that, guys.
So I said in the chat that if Paul wanted cool, I could switch to bad. It doesn't make a difference to me. But you can also be bad.
I'll take bad. Why not?
All right. Rich, what did you say trusted sells out to?
Trusted sells out to believer. You've
Got it.
fallen for the lie a little bit, and in some cases the authority has a point.
Okay.
So the only limit I'd like to say is I'd like for no conviction to exist in more than 2 characters, which at this point we have not violated that thing.
I see right now my means and motive are the same as our lucky spider. So I was thinking of changing one of those, and I don't know which would be best. I liked, what did fast sells out to something that I thought was
it's on the right hand side. Fast sells out to efficient.
Yeah.
What does cool sell out to?
Cool sells out to trendy.
And cool is just like you make things look good.
You make other people look good.
Yeah, you look good, and you can actually make other people feel good about themselves.
Okay.
Can you go over orphan and its opposite again for me real quick?
Absolutely. Again, I didn't say this before, but columns H through L on the youthful offenders sheet has the list of what they are and what they flip to.
Well, there you go.
But orphan literally is you're an orphan. You don't have parents, so your parents are gone effectively. And helpless is what it sells out to, which means you lose a sense of agency in your life, certain that you are subject to the whims of those more powerful than you. Oh, that's so terrible. All of these sellouts are painful and awful, and I cannot wait to make all of you sell out.
I went
said
with
the authority.
I didn't
I
see
went
it because I had the window smaller.
I went with bad, outraged, and rich. Since it looked like those weren't on anybody's lists.
It's still a pretty cool character.
And we will figure that out. Are there, can you give me a sample MO and disorder? Are there some in the book? Even I know they won't be thematic, but
yeah. Let me see here. I'm glancing at one of the example YO creation to see what they talked about for the. Okay, so here's one. CJ wants to play Jan, the Chosen One, a boy recently found wrapped in a cocoon of null entropy filament. Blah, blah, blah. He chooses his convictions. Since all of his people have been murdered by the authority, his opportunity is clearly orphan or helpless. For his MO, he writes down the Chosen One. He also decides that Jan can access past lives and give them control over his body, enabling him to fight like a demon. However, when he's under their influence, he loses self-control and is apt to be way more violent than it is in his nature to be. For disorder, he writes aspect of the demon. So kind of MO for this other character is Wise River Clan Healer. And the disorder is know-it-all. And for TikTok, it's MO is Sarcastic Needler. And the disorder, in order to highlight their overconfidence, is I can handle it. And MO for
that was
does
cool.
it help? Okay, good. If anyone needs,
and I both have means and motive of the same, fast and thrills. I think I'm going to change mine to tough and thrills, so that there's not as much overlap. I don't think anyone else has tough, and that way, the street tough works pretty well for street urchin kind of thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you want to switch it, but also I was thinking fast. I picked that mainly because one, it sells out to efficient, which seemed very appropriate, and more fast thinking rather than fast acting.
No, that sounds fine. Stay with fast. That sounds good.
So what I've got right now for MO is everybody's friend. And for disorder, I have hates to ask for help. So helps everybody else, but doesn't actually want to ask for help. I can do it. I can handle it. Don't you worry.
Nice.
I've got the fast means, the thrills for emotive, and I went with trusted for opportunity, thinking that being a mech could probably get me in some disguises and maybe get the Imperials to confide a little bit too much. MO, hacking and tech manipulation, as you would expect from a droid. And the disorder is in over his shiny half-dome head. Always thinks he can do too much. In the previous series, he was flying a B-Wing on his own, as an example of that. So
That was so great. Anyone have any questions or anything they need my help with? Okay. I'm not looking at you. I am currently working on a picture of a thing.
So as I said, I took bad, outrage, and rich. For my MO, I put upper class black sheep with upper class in quotes. And for my disorder, I put wants real respect.
Nice.
So for mine, I have means, smart, motive, altruistic, or altruism, opportunity, pretty. And then for the MO, eloquent speaking and debate skills. And then disorder is PTSD because she is a graduate of the re-education camp.
That's rough.
And so she's 17, so she's been through some stuff, so she's older than everybody else.
I like it.
She's seen some things.
I'm having some trouble coming up with disorder, and right now I'm going through a list of character flaw ideas.
Tragic flaws are a great way to find some ideas there. Tell me a little bit about the character. Maybe we can help you discover it together.
Yeah. So the character click section is the sneak, tough, thrills, and sneaky. MO, I put down stealing things and hiding from others. I picture them as scrounging stuff off the street, as far as clothing and things like that. Probably has an explosive temper. Tends to avoid conflict because of that explosive temper. I was thinking as far as an MO, maybe fickle, or disorder, as far as a disorder, maybe fickle.
Well, a disorder is it's your heroic fatal flaw. So it's
something good that can be taken advantage of.
Yeah. Paul, you were going to say something, I think.
Yeah, it also sort of almost sounded like you just said a disorder with the hides from conflict because of an explosive temper.
Okay.
That's true. Explosive temper. There you go. That's your fatal flaw.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Paul. Good ear. I found a picture for the governor. He's now on the authority and dystopia stuff. A quote-unquote self-made man. Oh, Herodura. Such a bad boy. Look at you. Look at those abs. You're so much trouble.
So the name I picked for my character is Deodora, so does that mean we're related?
Not, I mean, it could be, but not necessarily.
It could be like, okay.
We could be like cousins or something.
Yeah, that works.
My rich cousin.
Yeah, I just always find it amusing that in role-playing games,
this is Star Wars. Everyone's related.
If you have two people named Smith, they must automatically be long-lost brothers or something like that. But I love the cousins idea.
And obviously, Deodora's family like married in, so they're not actually fully, they're not royal, you know. Well, you're the Markle. You're the Markles.
I feel like I might have been booted out anyway because of the whole like being sent to the re-education camp thing. So I've lost any claim that I could have had.
Do we have anyone that went not native, Twi'lek?
Well, the droid isn't
Well,
native.
Also not Twi'lek.
Oh, I love him. Vasani's name is so great. You know, none of the Imperials call you Vasani.
No, that is the caring name that people might use.
Good. So it looks like MO and disorder is good for everyone. Some people are still working out details. So the last piece for character creation is really, in my opinion, important is the friendship question. And authority figures is one other thing that we have to do on the authority side, but we're not supposed to do it until after you have your youthful offender. So we're doing it right. I'm following the book's orders. I'm so proud of myself. This is the most I've done something right in a while. So the first thing we do at the start of each episode is give the authority some ammunition. Each youthful offender creates an authority figure, a character or force that is present in this episode and controlled by the authority. Is it the crooked cop that walks the beat in your neighborhood, the fleet of robot animals that secretly monitors citizens' activities, a psychic virus that will turn people violently paranoid when it's released into the mind net? Now, we are an hour from end of scheduled session, so 5 authority figures, we will not get to them. We may get to 1 or 2. We'll see. The other thing after authority figures is friendship question, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Does anyone have authority figures? So this is like the lieutenants. It's the level bosses. It's the people that you could potentially take down in a particular episode.
We should create that the like really smart like secret mastermind lieutenant.
Oh, you mean the governor's major domo?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to my mind too. Yeah. Although,
And-
if we create that person now, does it mean they won't show up again because it can only be?
We can always just bring them through to the next one. Absolutely. It can be like one of those, I want so-and-so back again.
Well,
unless you
like,
take them out.
He's like the recurring nemesis, you know?
Is it too silly to make his name Kato?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, what is that a reference to?
The Green Hornet.
I get where you're going for though, Steven. Like the whole
Yeah. You know, it is, I don't want to be greedy, but it's possible that that guy could be Herodura's father.
That's pretty great.
So what's a good first name for him? Where's that name sheet?
It was linked in a minute ago by Steven at 2:38.
I found it.
My time. Yeah.
Is there one that means something like proud or?
What about the war or warrior? It's chi. Or male ruler.
Yeah.
Twi'Lek. Yeah. And
Where's
the
that?
What?
Which name? Can you like
Twi'Lek?
drop it into chat?
And I don't think the governor speaks the Twi'Lek language, so he is unaware of what the name means.
Oh, yes, a little tidbit about the Twi'Lek language. They also have a secret sign language that has the majority of it is the movement of their leku. So it is a way that in the past they have spoken in secret. So you can definitely have access to that. Just know some of the Twi'leks who've sold out, you know, they also know that language too. Probably. Awesome. So I'm going to put that authority figure in, which is Twi'Lek Dura.
He was the original DD.
right. Father of... Dang it. Oh, rabbit.
Hera Dura.
I'm glad it's Hera Dura because Hera is a very awesome Twi'Lek in the Star Wars Rebels show, but Hera Dura is not that person, so.
Hera is also a very powerful Greek goddess.
Yes, that is true.
What about some kind of local circus master?
Ooh.
Like a recruiter?
Could be, yeah.
How about Sela Jean?
Sounds good.
She is a circus recruiter. Elegant, she's beautiful, she's refined. Yeah.
How about a kind of parole officer for graduates of the re-education camp? Like they have to check in.
Nice. I like it. How about I'm gonna do there's a name here, a name no longer given to Twi'lek females and considered anathema. Once meant shadow, now means emptiness. Maybe we take Ovasu and we make it a little more male sounding to be the leader of the Imperial Youth chapters. So Ovasun. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Something to do with the spice addiction. Someone
Maybe
who's
not a
responsible.
Twi'lek. Maybe not a Twi'lek.
Could be not a Twi'lek.
How
Maybe
about go ahead.
I was going to say, we don't live on Kessel. Spice comes from somewhere. So aside from just a dealer, you could also have someone that's literally the person who's bringing in the spice, like a profiteer.
Nice.
I wanted to say smuggler, then I realized they don't need to smuggle. They're doing this with the full knowledge of the Empire.
Doing the Emperor's work.
So they're a spice dealer. So I'm looking across our mini. Is this spice dealer maybe like a Rhodian? Is this spice dealer a Sullustan?
All right, who do we never get to see? Let's have a look here.
How about a Duros?
Duros could be cool. All right, Duros going once, going twice. Duros, and I saw a name that's canon that I'm moving out. There we go. Elor Vukto. How's that? Elor Vukto is our spice dealer. All right. Palakwi? Is that how we say it? The parole officer?
I think so.
Okay. Palakwi. All right, I like it. I think Palakwi's pregnant. That's how we know how good she is. I haven't been converted. Good. That is all the authority figures we need. Now, friendship questions. The last thing before we frame up our first scene. I'm so proud of you guys. I thought this might take the whole session, but you guys have been efficient and effective. You're doing great. This is the last bit of encouragement you get from me because I'm going to have to get in characters, the authority soon. But don't worry. I'm still secretly pulling for you. At the start of every Misspent Youth story, you also take some time to develop the friendship between your characters a bit more. You think of something that you want to see highlighted, explored, or explained about the friendship between your youthful offender and the youthful offender of the player to your left. So just look up, and the person who's at the top, which is Jason, you'll go with Paul. This is just for this session. So take a look at that character, and you're going to ask a question in the voice of your character to that other player's character. And I think this is probably a good chance for us to introduce our characters to each other, and then we'll do those friendship questions. Sound good? Awesome. So I will start. Oh,
what? Sorry, I'm short of the order. My videos are at the bottom.
That's a great question. I'm sorry, Noella. In the youthful offender sheet, just the person that is listed below you. Yeah, I should have. I was not clear at all. So Noella, you would handle Steven's character. Steven, you would. Right. No, did I say up earlier? I said
You
up.
said up earlier.
I'm so sorry, guys. Up. I'm
so
up, down, down.
I would ask Keith questions.
Left, right, BA start. No, yes. So Noella will ask Keith question.
And then
You'll write that under your character. So it's your friendship question that you are asking from Deodora to MR34, aka Vasani. And so that friendship question is an opportunity to make up stuff about the other characters, to take advantage of it. Like, for example, and this, of course, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but for example, after we slept together, why didn't you want to tell your big brother? These are questions that we will use to frame scenes of the game. And if you phrase a question and the person who's involved in the friendship question is like, I'd like to tweak it, that's okay. So look on your youthful offender sheet, look above your character. That is the character you will write a friendship question about on your record, which means that Jason, because you're at the top, you're going to roll around to Paul. So let's have quick introductions of characters. Steven, tell us about your character.
Yes, Zian Vree is a 14-year-old girl. She's been living on the street for a while. She knows the tunnels pretty well, knows how to get in and out of things, and knows when to hide because things can get bad, but at times has lashed out and beaten up people who she shouldn't have.
Nice. Paul, please introduce us to your character.
Heradura is 16. He's got more money than sense, and tends to show it off by dressing pretty flashily, but in a sort of like, imagine him wearing the upscale version of biker leathers and that sort of thing, right? He's a flashy dresser, but it's in service of looking tough. And he is generally pissed off at something, and that something is generally his father, who you may or may not know works for the governor. There's an underlying sense that he doesn't feel like he gets the respect he deserves from anybody, not just the humans, but anybody.
I just realized that the Didi, your uncle, those that you were sent to the camp, like, he probably signed off on it.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. I am currently showing you guys from the book some samples of friendship questions, so feel free to click on my avatar at the bottom of the Google Hangout if you want to keep looking at that. Noella, please introduce us to Didi.
So this is Didi, full name Deodora. She is 17, and she is a graduate of the re-education camp and suffers from pretty severe PTSD from all the things that were done in there. I'm kind of imagining, like, beyond just like more like scientific like reasonings, like, oh, you have to like fulfill like your biological role and stuff. I'm kind of imagining there was like physical and sexual abuse that went on in there, and she's like suffered a lot. And but despite that, she's still like she kind of hung on to who she was and is part of kind of like the thriving like queer subculture that was born out of like resistance to these re-education camps. And so on her ID bracelet, she has a Death Star with a red outline, which is the lesbian symbol. And she is very beautiful. And I think part of that was a result of like cosmetic grooming from the re-education camp. And so she is very smart and very eloquent, and so she solves problems through kind of speaking and debating with people. And she often like steps in to help the other characters when like there's like, you know, for issues you can't punch your way through. She like kind of steps in to like de-escalate the situation. And yeah, and since, you know, she's the oldest person in the group and has also like suffered a lot, and so she doesn't want like the other characters to like go through things that she's been through, so she like very altruistic and tries to help people.
Nice. I hope that goes well for you. I don't anticipate it. Keith, please introduce us to your character.
MR34, known as Mr. before, known as Vasani to his friends now, although I shouldn't say his, because MR is a droid that is genderless and is adamant about that, so the fact that he is listed as boy on the Imperial records is annoying. Still a top-of-the-line astromech droid, although not handling the wear of the tunnels beneath Ryloth very well. A lot of grind, broken appendages. Has a faux restraining bolt, so the Empire thinks that it is a well-behaved droid. And I think that Zepatu got that from me. A bit of a thrill seeker, not always doing the thing that might be the best, but always interesting, and able to manipulate technology rather easily.
Yes, this is canon. Jason, please tell us about your character.
Sure. So I'm playing Zepatu, who is a 16-year-old boy. I literally just decided in sexuality that Zepatu is actually ace, and certainly identifies as a boy, but isn't really about sexuality. He's asexual, a little on the gray side. But Zepatu is slim and charming. Has pocket stuff to help people out with various things, and has decorated his bracelet so it actually blends into his clothing, so it looks as fitting in as it can. And Zepatu has always kind of been around the lower middle class of the Twi'leks, and what he does is he helps people out. The role he's filling is the operator caregiver, doing what he can to help everyone else and keep people's spirits as high as they can, which also means he tends to pretend to be happier than he is.
Just so I'm clear, we see a couple. I see a couple of caregivers, but it seems like the style is different, and I want to check in and make sure that what I hear is what you're saying, because sometimes I mess up.
Sure.
So, Jason, is Zepatu kind of a cheerleader, like everything's sunny encouragement? Is that?
Nope. He keeps his own attitude. Like, he's got the cool mean, so he does make people feel good. But it's more, we can do this together. So your house is leaking, so he comes and helps you patch it. And you need help getting food out, so he does it. And tries to be there.
Okay. And then Dee Dee's approach towards encouraging and protecting, is that in like a more like a motherly kind of way, or
I don't see her as a motherly type of person. I think more You know, she like lists off all the reasons why you are like qualified to accomplish your task.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. It's almost like instructor way, like very logical debater.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Good.
I was reading DD as a leader from what you have here. Like, yeah, people are it's your character. I'm just reading what was there, and it looked to me like I was reading her in many ways as someone that can tell people what to do, but it's also that she's helping to organize and yeah.
Awesome. And I see here that everyone at least has a pass at friendship questions. Did anybody need more time or have confusion? Good. All right. So we have authority figures and friendship questions selected. We are to the point where we get to play. We have half an hour, so we're going to get through a few scenes. That's okay. And then we will work Rory's character in at the start of next session and continue forward. Starting next week, we should be able to, because we don't have to go through all this creation, we should be able to get through several episodes, going through this format, setting scenes, working through to struggles. It's going to be really exciting. I apologize to Paul that you're going to get an abbreviated bit of play, but I really appreciate the help that you've provided us and World Authority and all that good stuff. So each scene starts with one player taking a turn answering these questions, which friendship question is the scene about, or which authority figure is in the scene. And then what is happening in the first 5 seconds as the scene opens. So you set the scene. You shouldn't really put in any dialogue. It's just as the scene wipe happens, you know, the screen wipe from the previous scene happens, you set it up. What does it look like? What's it sound like? What's it smell like? Who do we immediately see? And then we will jump from there. And so what's happening in the first 5 seconds, whether the youthful offenders or the authority doing as we start. That is how we frame scenes. Now, it goes in turns. The game suggests, the book suggests that I frame the, if you want to go to the scenes sheet tab on our character keeper, I have already claimed scene 5. We are karked. So the way it's set up in the game is that you work backwards from, like, the authority could kind of default that everybody gets a turn. There are 5 of you. I've claimed scene 5. So I'm going to start from left going to right. And so scene 1 will be Jason. Scene 2 will be Keith. Scene 3 will be Noella. And if we don't, and again, if we don't get all the way through and we would have been on Paul's, then we'll sub in Rory. I'm taking scene 5, which means Steven, you will have scene 6. Who wins? And then that means that Jason would be the Dust Settles setup, although that one is more of a wrap up kind of a denouement.
Would it be possible to bump Paul up since he won't be here next time?
You know what? That is a great idea. Who wants to give up their scene to let Paul?
It's fine. I would rather just play than be responsible for a frame in this instance.
Okay, cool. Good. So, Jason, first question is, which friendship question is the scene about, or which authority figure is in the scene?
All right. So we didn't go through the friendship question, so I only know my own.
Oh,
so
let's go through the friendship questions. Real quick, what's your friendship question, and to whom is it?
Mine is for Herodura, and said, "Why did you stop coming to work in the common kitchens with me?"
Ooh.
I figure like basically a soup kitchen food thing kind of thing.
Awesome. And then, Mr., what is your friendship question?
It's for Zebatu. Why didn't you charge me for my faux restraining bolt?
Nice. And then, Noella, what is your friendship question?
Mine is for Vasani, and it's, who was your owner before you got lost in the tunnels?
And then, Steven, what is your friendship question?
Mine is to Diodora or Didi. How did your former significant other help me out of a tight spot?
Ooh, and then last but not least, Paul, what is your friendship question?
Mine is for Xianbray, and it is trying to remember how I worded it. Why do you think I owe you?
Nice. Thank you, Jason, for reminding us to phrase those out loud so we have them. Do you want to center around a friendship question or an authority figure?
Well, so I think in part, even despite what was just said, because Hera is leaving, I would actually like to hit Hera's question about Xianbray and why do you think I owe you? So we can start with that.
Awesome. I'm going to grab that and put it in our scene sheet just to help me remember. Cool. All right. And I will try my best to transition to people's character names, but it may take me a wee bit because you guys have some really awesome names. So that's whether it's an authority figure or a friendship question. In What's Up, which is scene 1, the idea is that we're going to observe the clique, that's you guys, your world and your friendships, and see what changes in that world. So what do we see in the first 5 seconds?
Is this for me or the table?
That is for you. And
Okay.
I'm sorry I made that very broad.
That's fine. I think what we see. Okay, so the camera starts off and sees Ryloth from space first, and then starts coming in closer and closer and closer. There's the various areas that are clearly oases far, far away, and then it moves its way towards a kind of desert, mud and brick city that is rising out of there, and you don't even see a lot of movement. And the camera comes down to a ground level, and you can begin to see Twi'leks moving around, and then it actually goes down to a series of tunnels, and it does a whole lot of left and right hand turns where if you're watching it in 3D, you may lose your lunch a little, but it's pretty intense. And then as it comes down, you have the camera move so it joins in with the bike as it's speeding by. So it's moving along as if it's mounted on the front of a speeder. And as it skids to a kind of Star Wars sound stop in a central hub where several of the other bikes are there, and messages are arriving by pneumatic tube and being sent off again. How's that?
I love it. So which youthful offenders do we have right now immediately at the start of the scene?
Fair enough. I think we need to have Xianbray in there. Certainly.
And Hera.
Well, not necessarily Hera.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I absolutely want to start with Xianbray in there. And let's say that Vasani is certainly in there also. Maybe like is responsible for taking the messages and allocating and moving them, because Vasani is much more able to deal with the complex speed at which they come through. And I think that to place something on it, maybe Hera arrives slightly later in the scene. And I think that's a starting point.
Okay. Well, yeah. The later in the scene, we'll figure out as it comes. That's cool. So when we pick up, is this a thing where she's on a delivery, or is she headed back to like the home base, or we just see her traveling?
I think that we saw her arriving. I think what's going on right now is that the speed of messages has picked up for some reason that is not clear, because for that to be clear, you'd have to be reading them. And it's being a little rough on the messengers. And I think what's going on right now is that some of the messages are going to increasingly dangerous places. And I think that's what we're looking at, is Jean-Vray being given a message to a place that they don't necessarily want to go.
Okay, cool. All right, so then you, Jean-Vray, you have received the communique of where to take this. I'm imagining like Empire Strikes Back, so maybe there's like a little data pad that you have affixed. So Jean-Vray, what's one thing that you've added to your bike that we see as we look over your shoulder while you're zipping along through the tunnel here?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a patchwork bike. It's made out of different scavenged pieces and stuff. And one thing that stands out is a very loud muffler that's been wrapped up in some kind of fabric to help dampen the sound. But it makes a real low thud boop, 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 as it scoots along.
Nice, nice. And I'm gonna just frame in Mr. like riding on the bike. Is that cool? So yeah. Mr. The picture we have for you, and of course that was the picture I grabbed from before, so if it's not accurate, then you tell me. Are you a shiny little roly BB-8 looking droid?
Maybe under all the grime and such, but there's a lot of wear that not having a Imperial authorized mechanic, it has not been able to get back up to factory showroom condition in some time.
Nice, nice. Okay, so the two of you are shooting down this one tunnel, and you receive a readout, Mister, that basically the place where you are headed, the tunnels have been kind of like yellow warning because there's some geothermal activities. There's like steam that's venting through the tunnels, and that's why you don't normally have to head that way. You are aware of that. What do you do?
Oh, I know Jean-Vray can handle this.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, Jean-Vray. So you are zipping along, and just ahead of you, you get little dim lights. One light kind of twinkles off occasionally because patchwork bike. You see that several of the vented tunnels that there, you can see steam just kind of vent up between a grating below and above. So you have to throttle down. How are you handling, like when we see Jean-Vina doing Jean-Vray, what is her piloting skills? Like, how does she handle?
Yeah, so I think that this is sort of, she's hitting a lot of, like when the light blinks off, she'll kind of bang it on the side to get it to come back on. And she's constantly kind of trying to keep everything together.
I think when you bang on the side, I say, hey, that's my job. And I start banging on the side for you.
I think whenever Mr. assigns me this dangerous delivery, or through a bad part of it, I'm like, my bike's not good enough to handle this. Why don't you assign it to someone with a better bike? As I'm zipping along in the direction and say, assign me something different, mister.
We don't need a good bike. We need a good pilot.
I reach over. I think that Mister's actually attached with like bungee cords, the equivalent of bungee cords.
Yes.
And there's like several of them. And I think whenever you say we need a better pilot, I say, maybe I need less ballast, and I unhook one of the bungee cords.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant you're saying you don't have a good bike, and I'm saying no, but we have a good pilot.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying great. Maybe I need less ballast.
I was going for a compliment on that.
Mister's not good with compliments. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. You hear this over comms, Hera. You've just finished up your delivery, and you're zipping back. You're near the sector. You weren't sent through the steam tunnels because, your dad wouldn't send you to such dangerous places.
So I'm hearing this over comms?
Yes.
It sounds like it's under control. I'm sorry, but if there's... if I don't get an assignment, then I will zip that direction and see if I can help. Because I do have a good bike.
All right, sweet. So you kind of fall in. You can see the trailing lights. Kind of imagining like Akira, the point where the bikes like come over. You can see that little light trail. So you see ahead is their little tunnel bike I'm imagining it's like a modified speeder bike is what I'm mentally going through. You guys are zipping along, and then another huge exhaust vent comes up, and it actually comes up like right around Mr. But hey, you're just a droid, so it's only a bunch of condensation on your body. And you zip past that as well. Behind them, Herodora, and ahead you see that there is where the tunnel appears to be shut off. That is not on the schematics that you were provided, Mr. or Jean. So what do you do?
Well, I think first of all,
sorry.
Whenever the condensation forms on Mister, I think I reach back with like a rag and I kind of wipe him clean, but I think it just kind of smears things around a little bit and makes it worse.
Just makes a pattern in the grime.
Yeah.
But we get to see that there's a restraining bolt on you.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we get to see the restraining bolt on Mister.
And so I think whenever this happens, you know, the part of the tunnel's closed off. And I think at this point, I immediately kind of reach down and I shove on a lever that will put me in a spiral around the tunnel to give me enough time to find out which direction I need to go. So we kind of see this thing go as I try to figure out which way I can, you know, which tunnel I can shoot out of that would still be safe.
Nice. Cool. So, Harry, you see that they've pulled up, and it looks like Jean is trying to find alternate routes around to deliver this package. What do you do?
I call out and ask if they need help.
Your bike's more maneuverable. So, Mister, why don't you reassign this delivery to Hera Durer, and I'll take his delivery.
Depressed robot sigh. You got this. Come on. What's life without a little adventure?
And I think I turn to Hera and I kind of salute and say, you know, maybe I'll see you back there. And I gun it and I head down another tunnel.
Oh, nice. So you...
I'm sorry, Mister, that is what you were doing, was you said, I've got that Jean has this. Go ahead and go forward with it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. So you're continuing on. You're not going to take Hera's help. That's awesome. So you zip off, and I'm going to kind of fast forward. So you head through, ignoring Hera's offer for help, and zip on down the tunnel, and Mister is able to route you around. I don't see where the authorities necessarily going to... You did the thing, and maybe you got a couple burn marks on your left hand from heading through a different set of steam tunnels. Hera, everything seems clear for you, and N5N, who is the dispatcher droid that routes everything out and has quite a few arguments with Mister about efficiency. N5N says, Herodora, your last delivery is completed. You're free to go.
Okay. I go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. So we follow you for a bit. And where is it that your group gathers? Do you have like a place that you all go after your work shifts are over? Do you have some place that's hidden out deep in the tunnels that you've carved out for your own that maybe has been abandoned? Where is it, Hera, that you would end up going where you could meet up with your clique? Because you guys are buddies. That's what you do.
I think that there's an old set of storage rooms, essentially. Several different sized, you know, you'd think about like a large closet to a real storage room, but different, but they're all sort of interconnected. And they were sealed off for whatever reason, or locked away behind a gate for whatever reason. But I found the key and got access to it.
Cool. So we're gonna follow you there, and we'll go ahead and have the other youthful offenders there, and Jean-Vray will show up soon. So Dee Dee and is it Batu? The two of you are already at the storage. So what's something that Dee Dee has done to kind of make this area with all these storage crates and compartments, and it's a hollowed out tunnel, so maybe it's like some kind of igneous rock, the setup. So what's something that she's done to make this place a little more comfortable, or something that make it a little more homey for the group?
She's hung up like wall tapestries, like, I mean, nothing like expensive or anything, but like kind of art for the wall that's on like a cloth, and also put like some like cushions and cloths on the floor.
Nice. And then Sabatu, is there anything that you've done? What have you done to personalize this place, or have you avoided that?
No, because you actually... So Zipbadu hasn't done much to make it fit for Zipbadu, but has actually tried to create like common areas that were more comfortable. So there's like a little improvised table that has a covering on it with a couple of things arranged on it, and a mangy old sabak deck.
Oh, nice. Is there a card missing, or is it actually a full deck? And just
it's actually two decks that have been put together to make a full deck. So it is possible to cheat a little bit with it, because the backs are not the same.
Nice. I like it. Cool. So the two of you are there when Hera comes back. And I think what I'd like to do is that, Hera, as you come in, you receive a comm. Your comm link blinks. It is a communique. What do you do?
I take it.
Awesome. And what we hear is the heavily accented basic of the Duros Elor Vuktu. And he says, Hera Dura. It is Elor. How are you, my friend? And I'm imagining this is broadcast where you guys can all hear it. So,
Elor, if you're calling me, it's not because you want to know how I am. So get to the point.
Oh, friend, no, you do not understand. We should, your people, you and your delivery friends, they work too hard. Why don't the group of you come to my place? I can have a party. Yes, what do you think? Working so hard, I understand your allotments are good. Your father says that you are meeting quota very consistently. I can help you to relax.
I look at both Dee Dee and Zapatu and sort of raise an eyebrow like, do we have eyebrows? Wait a minute.
Brow ridges?
Yes, apparently I have eyebrows at least. So I raise an eyebrow to ask for some indication of what they think about this.
Zepatu is going to completely defer to Dee Dee, who is shaking no. Zepatu is like, there's stuff to be done.
I don't understand what that means in this context. This is Paul saying that.
Okay. So there's the work that you're doing for delivering messages. For Zebadu, you take a moment, but downtime for him is an opportunity to go and help other people. So in this context, stuff to be done means that there's stuff that other Twi'leks need.
So, okay. So, is that a yes or no on the partying with the drug dealer? That's what I don't. That's what I don't get.
That's a pretty solid no.
Okay. Thank you. Um. Listen. What's his name again? Rich Elor.
Elor.
Listen, Elor. I'm sorry. This is just a bad time. But thanks for thinking of us.
Oh.
And then I click off the comm link.
Nice. He's like in mid sentence. So I think that we will have. So this is interesting. I'm trying to figure out how best to like throw the authority in your faces because we are running short on time. So I think that we will have Jean Frey come back with Mister after you have finished up your deliveries, and what is a thing that could happen?
May I make a suggestion? Oh, go ahead.
Yes. No, you have a suggestion?
I was just going to say, what if I got hurt, and therefore needed some medical supplies, and that's why we're in trouble?
So you've gotten the medical supplies, or you've been hurt and you need medical supplies, and so you guys are going to have to obtain them?
Either. Whatever fits best with the danger from the authority.
Sounds good. All right. So, yeah, you were not rationed. So basically, the setup is that you have not been efficient enough to receive rationing for medical care. So I'm going to let Mr. define the injury. What is the physical injury that Jean has?
I'm not a medic bot, so I don't know, but the leg is not looking good on the left side where the bike careened into the wall when I may have urged an increase in speed at an imprudent time.
May have. Awesome. Yeah, so your leg is pretty messed up, and when you tried to apply for some kind of back to gel, you were denied. You just don't have the clearance for it. You don't have the allowance. It's outside of rationing for you.
So I think I come back into the area and I'm kind of limping, and I've got like an improvised strut of metal that I'm kind of using as an improvised cane.
Is it broken?
I don't know. It's smashed.
It's smashed pretty bad. It looks like it's probably broken. Yeah, you guys see Jean come in, and she looks pretty rough. Things did not go well out there. What do you do?
Batu runs to have a look and see if he can help.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just calmly walk over, and if we can, I think me and Zabatu set the bone, and Dee is just very matter of fact about it, and like kind of cracks it, and then Sean just starts screaming.
Yeah, you guys could do some rudimentary, but this is a wound that she'll be stuck with for a while if you're not able to do something. And the authority has tamped down any decent medical access.
So, Paul, is it okay if I'm a little bit confrontational towards you?
Sure.
Awesome. So Jean says, this should have been your assignment. See if you can call in your buddies, and maybe your dad can help me get something to help this.
I offered to take that for you, and you rode away. So, cark you.
Ooh, nice. I was under orders. I had no way to transfer it to you. I appreciate it, but now we both know my bike couldn't handle it. You need to help me fix this, or I will live with this limp for a very short period of time.
Why the hell do you think that it's my job to fix this?
Because
I didn't give the order.
You're right, but you can. We all give what we can.
Why aren't you yelling at the criffing droid, man?
I will, but right now I need help. The droid can't help me. You can.
Why do you think Why do you think that it's my job? Why do you think I owe you?
Because you have more means than most.
All right, let's all just calm down. We need to take care of this situation. I will call somebody, and you guys are gonna go sit on the opposite side of the room.
That said, I'm actually going to walk out of the room into another one of the small spaces, and I will calm my mother.
Ooh, it sounds like you're trying to stand up to the authority.
Yeah.
Are we good with that? Because I'd really like to hit the system with that. Is that good?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So who's going to stand up is you. Here is how it works. So we are going to go through a conflict, and we use the struggle map. You guys, is everybody on the roll for your party link?
There we go.
All right, awesome.
Oh, geez, I forgot it was there. We haven't used it yet.
Yeah, you have to click the button thing and remind it, like, hey, I'm doing a thing. All right, awesome. So first roll 2d6. That will be your first die result that you claim.
Okay, I'm rolling 2.
It says authority claims 3 or 11.
Yeah,
Does that
but
happen later?
you claim the first number by making a roll.
Submit. So I've got 9.
Okay, cool. So move the blue over 9. And then I claim 3 or 11. I claim on the opposite side, so I claim 3. So you guys see I just moved a blue token over 9, so that's claimed for you. And the 3 is claimed for me.
I had already moved a token over 9, Rich.
Oh, well, I didn't see it move, but that's fine.
Now it's on 11. Why do you
It's going
keep doing
crazy.
that?
All right, cool. All right, so now, good. So what is your hope?
My hope is to get Xian's leg fixed.
Okay. Good. You don't need to talk about the method. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
Good. So go ahead and make your first roll. I've made my claim, which is over 3, and you've claimed 9.
Right. So I'm rolling again?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, if I change the size of the window.
It moves away. All right. So
No. If you change the size of the window, it readjusts where that image is.
Yeah.
So I just adjusted the size of my window so that it fit on 3 and 9, so it's fine now.
Mhm.
Oh, that's what the problem is.
Yeah. The tokens seem to stay set, but the background image will move with it. So I've got it fixed now.
cool. I'll think about other ways that we can do this next time around. It was just the best way I could think of, but there might be other ways.
I rolled 11.
Okay, awesome. So on 11, that means that this is the part where I was okay. Everybody always failed in all the examples that I saw. They failed like right away. Okay. So on the 11th, that means that we continue. So you reach out to your mother and she says, "Oh, Hera, do you need supplies, medical supplies? That perhaps, but who is it for?"
One of my friends got hurt on a delivery because Dad's boss won't keep the tunnels repaired.
Just very careful with how you say that, my lovely son. This was not your cousin, then?
It was not.
Good. I'm glad DD is well. I am sure that I can help you get something in a few weeks. We can scrape together and have that sent to your friend.
That is Bantha Poodoo, right? Their leg won't be healed. Will be permanently damaged if we don't get some attention now.
son, I think that you need to consider that it was her own fault. Dangerous job. People get hurt all the time. We don't have the resources for such things.
Maybe you can hear screaming in the background because her leg is hurting so much.
Awesome. And then what conviction are you putting at risk here?
I will risk. Oh, I love this because it would. I'm going to put my opportunity of rich.
Nice. Okay.
At
And
risk.
so far you have claimed 3.
No, you claimed 3.
You have claimed 9. I have claimed 3. All right, cool. So, permanent record decides what conviction you're going to use.
He also has 11. Is that right?
Let me make sure. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading through. This is the part that you have to get right. So you decide what conviction you're going to use. Say what conviction you're using. So why you use a chosen conviction to move forward to click hope without achieving it. Claims the number you rolled by taking one of your tokens, putting it on the struggle sheet. Write the number you rolled on your permanent record next to the conviction you use. You won't be able to use the conviction you choose again during this struggle, but you use it again later in the scene. So then the authority player describes taking the blow. So I feel like I kind of did. She pushes back to say, let's wait some time. And you're pushing again. So you will need to roll again.
So the question is, on that second roll where I rolled the 11.
Oh, you did roll again. I'm sorry. Okay, so you did roll again. I apologize. For some reason, I was looking at the book. I didn't see that you had rolled a second. That's what you were saying about the 11. Okay.
Do I claim 11 because I rolled that 11? Is the question.
If you're willing to use one of your convictions to make a claim, then you can.
So that's what I just did.
Okay. And then I am going to claim 7.
All right.
All right, cool. And I saw where you moved it. Good. So at this point, neither of us have won because you haven't rolled any of the numbers that are claimed. That makes sense? I'm going to roll back. This conversation that you're having, it's getting heated. The rest of the clique can hear this. You are aware that Jean is in a lot of pain because you guys are trying to fix her leg. And so... yeah, so I claim one of the 2 numbers. I'm printed. Okay, cool. Good. Claims. Point forward. One of the numbers you claim in this setup, you win unless otherwise. Okay. All right. Good. So we keep going. We're going to go round for round. So this is almost like rounds of a combat until we hit one of the numbers that are claimed. So what does it sound like when you just claimed 11? Did you do that with bad or outrage?
No, that was I had already rolled dice.
Okay, yeah.
So that was my
that was the first, right. 9 was the first claim. Okay, good. All right.
No,
so
9 was before we claimed, right? And then you told me to roll again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would have been my first
okay, which is the 11.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So then we look at the dice. At this point, we haven't resolved anything. Your mother says, let me speak with your father. I will see what he can do for you. Okay, Herodora?
If I'd wanted to involve father, I would have calmed him directly. I'm asking for help.
So she's pausing, which is the long pause of about to say no, unless you want to stand up and risk another conviction and try to make a claim.
And I'm the only one that can stand up in this.
That's why I was trying to widen it. Like you walked away, so I was trying to widen it that people can hear this conversation.
I mean, there's an open door. I mean, exactly. It's not.
It's not. So if other youthful offenders want to stand up here and offer to this
Sure.
argument, you can.
Well, before you do it, since I'm related to them, why don't I talk to her first? Because she might listen to me.
Okay, cool. So what conviction are you willing to risk?
I will risk. Can I risk pretty?
Sure. So you come onto the conversation. You know what? Why don't we broaden it to it's a hollow so that we can see Hera's mother. And we see Hera's mother. She's also very attractive, and perhaps she's holding a baby, like one of your young siblings. There, Heradura. And you see there's like the sand of Ryloth behind her. And so what do you say when you step into the conversation, Diodora?
I want to say something that like appeals to her sense of guilt for letting me down, because I think she didn't, like, she felt bad that she like let her husband send me to the camp.
What does that look like?
What's her name?
Oh, that's a great question. Her name is... Oh, these are neat names, but you guys have taken all of my favorites. So I will go with Rayla Dura.
I say, Aunt Rayla, please. This is our friend. Please help her. You didn't take the chance to help me. Please take it now to help her.
You're using pretty. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and have you roll.
What is it, 2d6?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can just re-roll those 2 red dice that are out there if you like.
2. Oh, no.
2. Okay, that's fine. Now you're claiming 2. Now, again, nobody's hit either number that has been claimed. You're claiming 2 with pretty, so we will go ahead and put that in as a claimed number. And I want to make sure we got the... Okay, good. So she says, "Oh, Theodora, I am so sorry, but it was the rules. You seem so much happier now. I have read the reports, and I'm so proud of what a great young woman you're becoming for us to help us survive this. So I'm so sorry for your friend and her injury. But I think that perhaps this should go to my husband. We should go through proper channels." So who stands up? She's still stonewalling you.
Yeah, I'll stand up. Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm going to shout out, through clenched teeth, tell her I can pay.
Ooh,
and I
nice.
I'm going to put at risk sneaky.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll.
Something back.
Roll the dice.
Okay. And I select the dice. And what do I hit to roll?
Re-roll, select the green button.
Yeah. 8.
You've rolled an 8. Holy crap. Okay, so you've claimed an 8. But again, you haven't hit any of the numbers. And what did you offer?
Sneaky.
Sneaky. Okay, great. So you claimed 8, and I put in R8 because I got all excited. Cool. So you claim you can pay. She says. She doesn't even know your name. It's obvious she doesn't know your name. And she says, "I am so sorry you've been harmed, but this is not a matter of money. This is about making sure that we follow the proper protocols. I know that you didn't intend to get harmed, but if you drove in the tunnels properly, then that wouldn't have happened. It's just simply the rules. Perhaps, why don't you go to the Imperial Youth? They have a care facility. I could get you some spice to help you with this pain.
Oh, Jean-Vray, I'm sorry. I found the documents you were looking for, providing you clearance.
I think you're standing up. What are you offering?
Fast is what I
Nice.
would risk.
All right, you guys. Oh, I get to claim. I'm sorry, I get to claim one as well. I'm gonna claim 6. Good. All right, so now you get to roll.
All right.
You're,
Let's see if I can
you're
do this.
rolling fast.
Reroll selected.
You should have 4 claimed, Rich.
I should. Okay, I will claim another.
If we
Thank
do,
you.
right?
You have 4. I should have 4. So 10. I'm claiming 10.
Okay. Should I keep what I rolled or reroll with the 10?
Oh, you. Yeah, reroll. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
reroll. Sorry.
Nervous. 4.
Again. All right, so you did that with fast. This is insane. And now I am going to claim 5, and we need to actually add more tokens. This is very educational to me. I'm so sorry. This is not supposed to be.
Possible.
Actually, at this point, you don't need to add any more tokens because the next roll could be a 12.
Yeah.
And then you would.
You're right. You're right. You're right. No, you're right. Okay, sorry. Okay, good. So she says, "Oh, well, then the forms. Then there's nothing more that I can do here. It seems that your little droid will take care of things. Herodura, I'm glad that you and your friends could handle this. Thank you very much, little droid. And so I will. Good day, son." And then she starts to hang up because
I haven't had a chance to roll, so I guess this would be the biggest party call ever. So Zep Batu will get on the line, and you're like, "Hey, this is Zep Batu. Look, you know me, and you know we're kind of under a lot of strain down here right at the moment. You remember when I came up and I helped reinforce the wall because the servants weren't actually there anymore, so it was falling apart and you didn't know how? This is kind of like that. It's kind of the new system where we're doing exchanges. And right now, if we don't have this, everything falls apart. And the worst part about that is that your son ends up not being able to leave early, not being able to finish the shifts early, not being able to choose what assignments they're going to get. Really, it's best for everyone if you help us out here."
nice.
So
And it sounds like you're using Trusted.
I am super using Trusted.
Okay.
Now that I have a 50-50 chance of ruining everything. But here we go.
Ruin all the things.
10.
No!
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So we're at the end. Thank you guys for your patience. So you're at the end. You have rolled upon a number that I have claimed, which means that you have failed. She's going to notify her husband, and this is very out of sorts, and you guys are applying too much pressure. You must be hiding something, all that stuff. Unless you would like to sell out your conviction that you just risked on that roll, which allows you to win the conflict, but then that conviction is forever tainted because you've kind of flipped. You went too far.
So by tainted, does that mean I don't get to use it again?
It means that it is sold out, and I will double check if you. I don't think you can use it again, but I'll double check before next session to make 100% sure.
Fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and sell it out then.
Wait, I can sell out because I feel like Trusted is going to be more valuable in the long run than Pretty. I mean, it is a value. It is valuable, but like,
doesn't it have to be the person that just rolled?
Yeah.
That
It's
rolled
the person.
Oh, it is the person that just rolled. Okay.
Yeah. Person just rolled.
Yep.
So yeah, it's on you. When you stand up, you're the one who's taking all the responsibility, and everyone will blame you if it goes badly.
Nope. I'm reinforcing the new system. This is the new world order. I even said that phrase. I will take the sold out because I am supporting the system with the new system.
Oh man, so I've just crossed out trusted and now you are a believer. So what does this sound like? Like you win the conflict, you convince her to do what you want to get medical aid for Jean. But how do you do it in a dickish, terrible way that everyone will look askance at you? This will bring our session to a close.
So she's about to tell her husband, and I say, and if you don't, I'll tell everyone what I found in your house.
She stops. I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about, but this seems to be so important to you all that I will do my very best. Let me see what I can have sent to an area for you guests. I will reallocate some supplies, and there'll be a little data read that comes through the hollow of the Bacta and the B1 droid that will be sent to an area or location near the distribution center that you guys usually handle all of your work for. And yeah, you guys just saw your good friend kind of sell out.
Did what I had to do.
One of her convictions, but they had to. And so we've gone over time. So normally I like to do the feedback, but if you want to give me feedback over the next week, I will be rewatching, especially this last half hour when we hit the system. I have some notes that I've taken on things that I need to clear up and make sure so that this will be smoother. I'm already aware that this didn't go nearly as well or quickly as I'd hoped. So if you have any other feedback you'd like to give me in the intervening week, I'm open G-Chat, Slack, whatever you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go because we've already run over on time. Thank you so much for playing, and thanks for giving this a shot. It's only going to get better. I feel already more confident of how to set up scenes better next time, which is group scenes, all group scenes. And that's where I think this game has its most strength. So
it was good playing with you guys.
It was good playing with you, Paul.
Yeah.
All right,
cool.
I super got to go.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.